Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. As you can see, we are in a different location. This is very weird. We've got the light. I think you can see the light. We can kind of see ourselves.
Yeah.
The light's not on because Reese didn't bring the extra bit that comes with it to turn it on.
Yes.
So we've not got the light on, but it is us. We were going to hold the sign and be like, look, guys, it is us. Promise. But I think people know. We have got our usual setup. We've got a new camera, actually, thanks to Sanaya.
Yes.
We've got new mics, thanks to Sanaya. We do have our own cameras and our own mics, but I turned up, this is Reese's new place, and I turned up and basically was like, oh, let's just use these. So let us know, give us some feedback. Is the audio okay? Is the visual okay? Let us know. Yeah. But we're back with just an OG episode, and this won't be the studio for the foreseeable.
No.
We will be moving. Turn your phone upside down.
No, do not stop.
Turn it upside down. We'll be moving.
Yes.
Somewhere else relatively soon when we get somewhere else sorted.
However, this setup will change. Like, this is okay, but I think Finn literally came around like 15 minutes ago and we were like, let's just see what we can whack up. But I feel like we could either get the sign here, we could put the sign there with the light on. With how the kitchen is like the kitchen and living room's like really open. So we could have it set up like over there with...
See that? Magic.
Yeah, stuck. So we could have the setup over there, which I think makes the most sense. But then it would be it'd be challenging to get the sign on over there. So we'll see. We'll play around with it. But I guarantee the next couple will probably be a little bit different. But we're back because it's been a good time. It's been probably about when was the last one we did in person? Was it
the OG one? Was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? People liked it.
Yeah.
People like the ones when it is just us.
Yeah.
Like the old school episodes, which will be coming back again when we get the plan is we're going to have somewhere where we're going to be able to do podcasts a lot more frequently, like probably
a couple of weeks.
Probably multiple.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason why most days we couldn't be like, right, we've got half an hour to just jump on a podcast, quick update on
someone's
show.
prep or a show or
if we've got a client that comes round, so
it'd be quite cool because if let's say a client does come around and they're in prep, we're like, come on, hop in.
Exactly, so that's the plan. So stay tuned. We have got a lot of stuff that we want to get sorted, including like merch, and we got a question about that. Yeah. We are in the works of like getting lots of things done, so just stay tuned. Yeah. Sanaya's watching in the background now. What do you want? We're in a podcast.
I need a screwdriver.
You can't see us. Don't worry. Carry on. So did you see the story that I put up about the members website, which I think moving forward...
Did you see my message?
Yeah, you'll sign up.
Yeah, do it. I'll sign up.
I'll sign up. Get in. Going to make a profit. So yeah, that's something that, again, we want to be looking upon. I don't think this one's stuck. No, this one isn't magic.
You haven't got the magic touch.
No, but yeah, I think we've definitely got a fair few things in the pipeline, which I think will be good if we can nail everything. It's us. We probably won't. There'll be a few things that go wrong.
You can't spin 100 plates at the same time. Like we've still got coaching that is the main priority. Yeah. Our clients are our main priority. Like we love the podcast. And I really enjoy doing this. And we've said like in the long term, we do want to
do more.
Have the podcast as like, not our main focus, but have it as like something that we really, really push. Like, because when we are on it, people love it. Like we get a lot of engagement, we get a lot of good feedback. Like we've said before, we want it to be the best sort of UK podcast for bodybuilding, but also just for people to enjoy, like, because I think the episodes that do the best are the ones where it's just us having a laugh and answering questions, and it's like...
And there's a bit of bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's that balance between like education and just like general chit chat and having a laugh, and then obviously having the show reviews and stuff. So yeah, it will give us like, let's say 6 months to a year, and I think we'll be like, oh, do you remember when we spoke about this and having this and having that and having that, and here we go.
Either that or we're going to be broke.
Well, yeah, we're already on the way to that.
Yeah, I think we're both close. So yeah, it's either
I just every day I'm just
losing money.
Honestly,
just losing money.
Just keep spending money. Like I say to Shannon, like I don't know what I'm doing. Like I can't keep spending money.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be broke. Like I'm the exact same. I said at the start of the year, I was like, I want to just get to the point where I actually worry about money, and I'm like, I'm already there.
It didn't take me long.
It's like 6 months. I'm already there. So yeah, it's either that or this is the last podcast we're doing because I've moved out, and that's, I guess, a bit of an update. So this is mine and Sanaya's new place. However, Finn's actually been here more than probably I've been here. Finn's been living here. He's been here most nights. So this is basically all our places.
Can I say something that annoyed me about your post? I've already told you.
What?
Well, I didn't say it annoyed me, but you were like, It's not even hard.
Oh yeah, no.
No, it's not because you're renting. It's not hard.
Yeah, no. What do you mean it's not hard? Like, what
You were like, people make out it's a really hard or stressful thing.
No. I said it's a really stressful thing because
But apparently it's stressful.
Apparently it's stressful. I've done nothing. Sanai's done everything.
Yeah, but
I had Jacob today mention about like, I hope you've been enjoying all the DIY. It looks really fun.
I'm not doing it. Yeah.
I've done nothing.
Shannon's done more than you.
Yeah, Shannon genuinely has done more than me.
No,
so,
it's because the stressful part when people buy a house is getting the mortgage, the solicitors. You don't have to do any of that when you're renting. So like when you put that, I was like, of course it's not. It's really not been stressful.
I didn't say it's stressful. I said a lot of people say it's stressful. It's not. Sanai's done everything.
Yeah.
That's why. But yeah, it's also not that a big thing. We're renting, so it's not like we're actually bought a house. It's a very cool place, and it's quite an expensive rent for what it actually is. But it's decent. It's all right. It's a nice place. It's very open. It's cool. My mum actually found it, so she sent it through. Yeah, mum pays for this. Shit. This whole setup, the camera that Sanaa has got, my mum paid for. No, so yeah, my mum sent it through, and then we got it approved.
The payment.
The payment. I sent the payment through. But yeah, so Sanaa really wanted it. She was offering the guy like, we'll pay 6 months advance, and I was like, no.
You know what I said?
What? A blowjob. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, no. She was like, I'll pay 6 months up front.
Sam today, Sam George Media, but it was Sam George Gym because I saw him in the gym, and he was applying for a place, and he was like, we wanted it, so they didn't get it. Bless him.
Rent or buy?
Renting it.
Yeah.
But they didn't get it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. Sorry, I'm letting the world know. He was obviously a bit like good. But I was like, what did you offer them? And he was like, I offered them an extra 50 quid. I was like,
50 quid? Is that
should have offered them more than that. Yeah, 50 quid a month for rent. Like,
yeah, but
still a decent amount. Like, I wouldn't even think to go over the odds unless I loved it. I'd just be like, well, this is the offer. This is what you want. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, there's a few people that were asking about this, and obviously the thing that we were worried about more so is just because of our age. And also when you're self-employed, as much as it's like, you could flex your financial statements, they prefer a solid income. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same with anything. Yeah. So, but then luckily I think it was a case where, and also there was an issue, which if anyone knows, don't ever go from like, if you're looking at moving out, don't go from like a limited company to, sole trader to a limited company. Because they were like, well, they were trying to.
It looks like you've only got like 1 year.
They're asking my accountant, like, and they were like, well, he's been he's gone from a sole trader to this. And they've only got this amount for like VAT and stuff like that. I've just paid. And I was like, it's just a piss take. Like, so it ends up like it's just more stress. Like, luckily, Sanaa got approved, but for me, it was like it looked like I was unemployed. It was like no, I was like, no, I've got years of this.
That's why, like, I was speaking with the mortgage advisor. That's what they were saying. And my accountant, they were like, you need to stay, like, because I was telling them like I'm like in the process of getting a house and getting a mortgage. They were like, well, then there's no point going to a limited company. You just shoot yourself in the foot. Yeah. But it is what it is. Luckily, it's
giving financial advice.
Yeah, financial advice, because you're not taught this at all. Like,
to be fair, like, one of the things like that they should teach you at school is like paying your taxes, how to actually save money, like invest in money, like those kind of things that you don't get any education on.
No,
it's all about the eat well plate.
Yeah, exactly.
And
which
like
everyone's overweight.
Pythagoras' theorem.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
Kind of, yeah. I was alright at maths, but Pythagoras, no, not off the top of my head. Do you know Pythagoras?
It's to do with the 90 degree, all of the angles in a triangle equate to.
Do you know the three triangles?
180.
Do you know the three
isosceles.
Yeah. Regular,
isosceles, and.
Oh, what's the other one? It's ice something, isn't it?
That's isosceles.
Isosceles. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. No. I just heard in my
right
head.
Angle triangle.
Yeah. Is right angle triangle? Is that?
Isosceles and irregular.
Is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway, let's talk about things we actually know about.
Yeah. So, training.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about training? Length and partials. Anything new?
Yeah.
The new calf study that's come out. Recently about doing just basically spending time in the bottom point and not coming onto your toes.
Just LPs.
Yeah, doing LPs. But otherwise, let's actually have a bit of a chat. So, what was the last time that what's happened in the last month? Have we done one since I've been to Amsterdam? We did one on but we haven't done an in-person one. So I went to Amsterdam. That was all right. If anyone's gone to Amsterdam other than to smoke weed, everyone, like, is it actually good? It's not. It's shit. Don't go. Finn was saying he wants to go. It's not. If you're not smoking weed,
it's a European city that's close.
Yeah.
And like me and Shannon like having like little breaks and go for a couple of days somewhere. Yeah. But neither of us have ever done recreational drugs, so we're both kind of like, should we go? Like,
very good.
Reece got absolutely annihilated by a space cake, didn't you?
I didn't. I ended up, we bought, I think, some like CBD brownies. And it was just...
Such a bad influence. You took a 16-year-old away.
16, 19. I took it, it gets younger every time.
You took a 14-year-old away and his girlfriend, and you got them both high.
No, she was drinking in a room. On a road. she was drinking in a room. The mum was the mum. His mum
Jacob's
was the
mum.
most. Yeah, Jacob's mum was the most wild out of us all.
Was she?
Oh, she was. Jacob, I'm so sorry. Jacob doesn't even know about this. True story. They went to this. I think they went to something about, you know, those things you stick on your nipples, and you've got like sticks and stuff and like leads and chains and shit. And her mum, so Lisa, was like, "Oh yeah, I've got them." To Sanaya and Phoebe. Sanaya and Phoebe were like, "What?" Yeah, honestly, true story.
Jacob wasn't there.
Jacob wasn't there. They mentioned it, and then they were like, Phoebe was like, "We're not telling you." And Jacob still doesn't know.
Well, he knows now.
So Jacob,
you got to keep that.
Your mum's wild, bro. She gets up to some freaky ass stuff, bro. So like, I just got told this, and I was like, God, I'm.
You got to keep that in.
Yeah, 100%. That 100%.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. But Jacob, your mum gets up to some freaky stuff apparently with I think your dad. I'm pretty sure it's your dad.
I hope so.
I hope it's your dad. I mean, his dad follows me on Instagram.
This could go really bad.
Yeah, imagine. The dad's like, I've never...
He's watching it like, she definitely doesn't.
She's never going to do this for me. Lisa, who's this about? So I'm sorry, I've just exposed you, Lisa.
Yeah, I think we should leave
This
that.
was... No, that's not getting deleted.
No, I'm saying just leave the story there.
Yeah,
We'll keep it in.
Yeah, we won't say anything more. But yeah, that was Amsterdam. It was a bit meh. And then otherwise, I started my pre-prep diet today because I haven't actually told you. I'm doing early shave next year, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty set. So there was a discussion that I made with myself, and it was like almost thinking, spending time at this body weight. I rebounded really well last year, and it was a case where I was going to do late next year, but there was a thought that I was going to do early next year. But I think with where I'm sitting from a muscularity standpoint, I'm not going to be like fucking massive. I'm not going to be like a ridiculous...
Not when you can't finish your meals.
Fuck off. I'm 133 kilos, 134 kilos. Like, you can't get to
pounds.
295 pounds. You can't get to 295 without eating meals, mate. Can you?
You £5 off 300. Like if I was £5 off £300, I'd be like,
I just don't care about it. Like. I've seen £300 before I went to bed, so it's like...
I shouldn't weigh in the evening.
Fuck off. So pretty much, guys, I started my pre-prep diet because I'm going to be...
Because you can't eat his food.
I can't eat my meals, no. I got to a point where I feel like just spending time at this body weight, I've solidified this body weight. I've been 290 plus now for the last like 7 to 8 weeks. I also think as well, like just judging off like how my body feels, I'm not going to say I can't keep progressing, but I feel like it gets to a point where it's like my joints probably need a little bit of a break.
You know when you need to pull back a bit.
Yeah.
You can just tell, can't you? Like,
Yeah, no,
you're not
you
as
can
responsive.
No.
You never want to eat. Like,
No.
Never
Can't
finish
eat,
your
can't finish meals. That's just Reese. That's all the time.
Yeah.
But no, so it's got to a point, and I thought as well, like the progress I've made. I also, with next year, I will have a load of clients on later in the year. Like especially with the guys I have like doing PCA shows and stuff like that. Like I'll most likely have more clients next year than I had this year, and I've still got a few probably going to do early next year. But I'd rather at least be able to probably not make the same mistake you did in regards to trying to manage. Like let's say for this year, if I was to compete this year, I have from August 18th, I have that's the WNBF, no, sorry, BNBF, it's like 18th or something. It's the one that Jack's doing, if he's doing it, but I'm pretty sure he is. Jack, you better do it. If from there till literally October, I have shows every single weekend, and there's multiple. And if I'm then thinking, like, and that happened last year, and it was this year, and the high likelihood is with the people I've got next year, that'll happen again. So I'd prefer to do what I did last year and compete slightly earlier, which is cool. I got to a really good point, bodyweight wise. I'm really happy with the improvements made. And I'm not going into the prep thinking I'm going to fucking be a pro or anything like that. I think realistically, I'll do PCA Universe. I'd like to win that. I think that's going to be a realistic expectation. I think that'd be quite cool as well, because I did that last time and I did enjoy it. So having that as like the main show, do a qualifier before, do a two bros show before.
Fitex?
What, Fitex?
Fitex Pro card, that's what you want, yeah?
That's my peak. That's the only pro
card. Oh, so that's like 5-10 years down the line.
that's like 10 years down the line. There's no chance I'm going to be... Fitex Pro, me? Wow, bro, no. No chance. I'd be getting swamped by the Fitex Pros. I don't even know if there are any Fitex bodybuilding pros.
Matty Beaumont?
No idea.
He's good to be fair, but he was very soft. But like he was the biggest there by a mile.
Fair enough. So I'm probably going to be doing, like I say probably, I'm aiming now for earlier shows. So similar to what I did last year, but just do it in open, which I think is quite a... It's
You're not doing physique? You're not doing physique anymore?
No.
Oh, really?
You don't think? My legs are alright, I guess.
I thought you were doing physique still.
Fuck, no. So yeah, so early next year, that's kind of where my head's at. But we'll see, like everything's always like suspect to change. But I want to get down to like a pretty legit condition, like especially from the front. Like I've got relatively lean on the little diet I did at the start of the year really easily. But at the same time, I'm heavier, I've put on more muscle. So I want to get down to like sub 110. If I was to predict my stage weight right now, I'd say like mid 100s to like around like 106, 105, 104. So I want to get to the point where like my front's like pretty fucking there. Back still a little bit to go, but then hold around that sort of point, because at this point, like I said to you before, like body weight wise and food wise, I can train really well. Like I might not be stiff legging 8 plates, or I might not be pressing 4.5 plates with the same level of like stability, but my overall muscle mass relative to strength, I don't think really drops off. And then also my body almost functions like a little bit better there with sleep, with how I feel. Granted, it will probably get to a point where I want to see a little bit of training almost decline in this phase because I want to get that lean. But at the same time, the second I notice it, I can then start to kind of pull back a bit with things that we've got planned. I've said to you, obviously, I want to potentially drop down to maybe 4 times a week training anyway. So if I can have this as like a pre-prep into like a slight push-up, but stay pretty tight and conditioned, that'd be cool. Like I can maintain really well, like similar to how I did last year after shows where, I went away and I was like still really lean, eating a good amount of food. Like when I was away on holiday, I was getting asked by loads of people, like, when are you competing? And I looked like I was still prepping for the whole summer last year. And that's what I almost want to get to before I start to prep. So it's like, okay, cool, I don't have to absolutely kill myself.
Just dip into it.
Yeah, like, dip into it and then
decide upon your shows.
Yeah, like I don't think next year, the plan is I probably will start prep sometime January or February, but I don't really think I'll have PCA Universe as like what I want to do as a final show potentially, or one of the shows, because I want to win like a qualifying show to get a pro card in PCA. That's not the goal, but that'll be an outcome. It was either that or finals. But then as a result, it'll be a case where if I hop into an earlier show, like I don't really want to be like, these are my shows. I just want to do a prep and be like, right, I probably got 8 kilos to pull off. See where I'm at. If I hop into an earlier show, wicked. And I think I'll have the muscularity, and also I think I have the knowledge to be able to like do that now. Relative, I don't think it'll be that challenging. I don't think, and it won't be anything that I'm like, okay, I've got to pull off 20 kilos and I've got to do this.
You learn so much from every prep, and every client's prep as well. Like every single prep is different. Like no matter how you map it out, you can have the most perfect plan for a prep, and things still get thrown at you. Either if it's your own prep or a client's prep, like. Every client's prep that I'll map out, obviously you want it to be the best that it can possibly be, but how often do you get a...
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, but how often? That's what I mean. How often do you get a quote-unquote perfect prep? Like where the rate of loss is exactly what you want, you take deloads when you planned, like it's very rare. Like it'd be nice, but people aren't robots. Like things occur within that time frame, stress, family issues, maybe not hitting the targets that they've got, etc. So and even if they are, even if like for example we wouldn't miss a beat within a prep, but still you don't just lose exactly the rate you want every week. Like
think about how you were at like 166, 170. Like you were 170 for ages. Yeah. I remember you were like, I'm gonna have a high day, or I had 2 high days, and see you gained like 3 pounds, and it was like 2 weeks out, I'm still the same weight. I haven't lost any weight.
Well, it's like and your body starts fighting you when like hormonally it starts down regulating from.
That's why I just take more train.
Yeah, but like obviously, even like you get the same side effects, but you can replenish it. Like whereas in natural bodybuilding, obviously you can't go and just replenish the testosterone, but you can be like, oh, I'm gonna have a high day.
Can you not take Clen?
No, Clen's not here.
Yeah,
Clen's natural. Yeah. So like it's more so a case of, and again, like. We've said it like loads, like everybody's so obsessed with fatigue management now that they just don't get lean.
Did you see my first post that I put like about the first show? So it's 22-week prep, 0 refeeds, 0 high days.
It wasn't it wasn't needed. Like
it was a case where like I gave myself plenty of time.
I just needed to be leaner.
Yeah, the front was in from 8 weeks out, my back wasn't, and it was a hard push.
What you got to think as well though, like you probably should have had. Towards the back end, you probably should have had some refeeds.
Yeah,
like,
probably digged a bit, maybe harder. And I look back and think, okay, cool. Like, let's say my last prep, I was 104 kilos on stage. No, 104 kilos 8 weeks out. I was 102 kilos on stage. I was 98 kilos at my lowest before men's physique. Realistically, it would have been a case where, like, if we were to look back, it would have been where Like, I probably wouldn't have needed to be able to be as full, knowing that I was bigger than everyone I competed against. It would have been a case where when my shoulders and my delts were going flat a little bit, it probably would have been a case where we said the same conversation at 4 weeks out, your bodybuilding pose are looking better, but your men's physique pose are looking worse.
Yeah.
That's probably the call where you go, okay, cool, let's almost slide off from physique and say, my physique's probably more suited towards showing my legs and showing how that is. My back also wasn't playing ball for men's physique, but it's not as noticeable because my glutes and hamstrings were in at 100 kilos. You look at that and think, as much as you've signed up for the shows, you look at as much as you signed up for the shows. I think like that's probably one of those where you go, like as I kind of accepted, I wasn't upset after the PCA show when I probably should have won that. I wasn't upset after the Tubero show where it was like objectively my worst showing I've ever had, because it was like in my head I already knew I was like probably not physique for this year. Like I don't look like a physique guy. You were kind of
already like over it, weren't you?
Yeah, but again, looking back, I probably still would have done those physique shows, but you learn from it and you probably go, okay, instead of maybe having a Tubero show, maybe I just do a classic show after and I show my legs instead of being scared and thinking, oh, I'm not going to be a perfect bodybuilder, because I'm not going to win. You aren't going to be winning pro cards like in our first season in a fucking different division.
The issue is the pressure that
and the ego
people put on themselves or we put on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I said this to, I can't remember who I was speaking to the other day. The reason that I was so battered was because I just wanted to be so good. You know what I mean? I was like, all I cared about was like, I want to be so peeled that it's like, what the fuck is that? That's what I was like, putting so much pressure on myself.
You still got beat on condition at UKDFBA, what the fuck? By Charlie.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did. To be fair, I did get beat. Would you say it was just condition? I think it was. He was harder. He was harder, because he's like, and probably less and he's older, and he's got more years behind him. But
I think in some ways you did him on condition.
He was
I don't think it was like he destroyed you condition. It was just he was a little bit sharper, but he was also he didn't look as battered.
Yeah.
After the show, when you went up to him,
like,
you were talking to him, and he seemed normal. And you were fucked. You were slow.
Yeah.
You know. Should have cookies before stage for the A1.
Yeah, I know.
But then you got beat on size. Fuck.
I did get that was because I natty in Hampshire.
Yeah.
Second out of 2.
Got second.
Yeah, I got second.
Yeah, second place. That seems to be a thing that. Have you noticed that this year? I saw a coach being like, "We need to stop normal." No, but it's very much this year where it's like second place.
But it's like when people win a show.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, like, what if you win a show and just everyone else was really poor?
Yeah.
There might be 10 people in the class, but like, imagine if it's an awful class. Like, you won, but you'd rather probably come second or third in an amazing class.
I look at it like I've said this before, like the PCA finals, me, Axel, like it was, so Axel, me, this was the order. Then it was that AMS dude who won a Tubero show the other day. You know, the guy that was like, I should have won. You know, we put the back photos up. Then it was that Fraser guy, or Cam Wales and Fraser. Cam had won an overall that year. Fraser was really good. I thought Fraser was better than, I thought he should have been third. Then it was sixth. It was, who was it? I remember the lineup. It was amazing. It was a class lineup. You know, the PCA finals one. That was a very, very good junior lineup.
Yeah,
but then you
and Axel made everyone look small.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
But I still think
if there wasn't you and Axel, you'd be like, oh, it's a good class. But it was like, oh, there's those.
In my opinion, that's the best PCA junior like final or universe lineup I've ever seen, and that was me and Axel we were really good. But like, if you were to look at the first timers lineup, the overall lineup was good, I thought. But the actual class lineup, there was a kid who never dieted. Like, let's be frank. There was another guy who had 0 muscle and 0 tan, and then it was the Asian dude I think he was Asian, looked all right. The dude that was next to me on the right. And then there was Connor Hall, who looked good, you know. But that lineup, like, was like, when I won that, it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Shit lineup. Like, in comparison to what you expect, I should have won that.
Yeah.
But I feel like you learn the most from...
It's different at first time as show.
Yeah, but it's very much dependent on the lineup and how you perceive situations. You know, like, for you, for example, that FitX show you did, men's physique show.
Smashed it.
It's awful.
You can't say that. Nick Senior might be watching.
Yeah, he was shit in men's physique. He'd be the first one to admit he's a good bodybuilder. He's shit in men's physique. Like, you know, sorry, Nick, I'm not being horrible. You looked really good. You're just not a men's physique guy. You know, like you were shit. Like, you weren't very good. You were a shit men's physique guy, but you won.
Me, I was awesome, mate. I won 1-1.
He was shit. Like, Shannon literally said afterwards, oh, he's not very good. Like, that's what Shannon said. Shannon was like, and I was like, he's not a lights out bodybuilder. Sam was like, nah.
Well, obviously I'm not.
No, but
I didn't go into it saying
but
that.
you won that lineup. The lineup was shit. You know, the WMBF lineup wasn't the best. The UKDFA lineup was better.
The WMBF wasn't great.
Yeah, you know,
but it wasn't bad. Like, but
Nah,
yeah,
you take
like,
away
I'm not deluded. If I was in a good class last year, like I wouldn't have got the results that I got.
The result.
No, results.
Results,
Even
yeah,
like,
text, yeah.
even, no, all of them. Like, even at the UKFBA, if it was a better lineup, I wouldn't have come third. You could always say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like, if there's better people than you,
What was the best lineup you were in last year? BNBF Classic? Who was it?
I didn't do BNBF Classic.
Didn't you?
No, I did
UKFBA
UKFBA Classic.
Oh.
That was when, Jack, Kingsley Clough and Aaron
And then
came first and second.
The little 16, was it a 16-year-old?
I think he's like 18 as well.
Yeah.
wasn't he? I
Was that
beat
the best-
him. I came third in that.
No, but was that the best lineup that you were in?
I'd probably say UKFBA finals.
Yeah.
The guy that won it was good.
Yeah. Where'd you get that? Third? Yeah.
Charlie came second.
Yeah.
So anyway, we've established I'm shit, and I need to hang up my trunks.
You kind of have. Like,
Yeah.
you're a coach now.
That's the thing though. Like, I was literally going to say this before when you were like, "So I've got earlier shows next year." Like, you can see why coaches do just coach.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Like,
You know.
but then also I don't like the excuse of like, "Oh, I'm a busy coach, so
I find that excuse like almost
I can't
embarrassing.
be a bodybuilder."
Yeah.
It's like, see, what about your clients who are busy? You just tell them they can't do stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't like that, but I do get it. Like, more so in the sense of like going to shows every weekend and trying to maybe handle your own prep.
Yeah.
I think will be difficult.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll handle your own prep?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think towards the back end you'll want to still do it on your own and still consult with me, or do you think you'll want to
No,
have
I'm not a dickhead like you who thinks, I can do it on my own and then you lose your head. Like, I know...
I definitely didn't. There was not one point where I was like, I'm going to fucking do it on my own and not talk to you or talk to Shannon.
But I definitely think you could have been a lot more, like, I think from like 6 weeks out from your actual proper shows, after the FitX show, so this time last year, because the FitX show was a year ago, wasn't it? Today? Was it a year ago yesterday? I think Josh put up I saw Josh Campbell.
Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure it was today, actually.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I think after then you could have been a lot more, like, you could have ran a lot more through me. And it could have been a case where, like I said to you multiple times, I'll just tell you what to eat if you want me to. And you only ever said that when you were like actually mega fucked, like with the Nando's and stuff like that. But like your actual baseline diet, there wasn't really a time where you were like, tell me what to eat. Which I think that probably would have helped you.
Yeah.
Instead of like, because there was a point where after the A1, you were like putting oats in for like your pre-workout meal, then you were putting it in pre-bed. Then you were having
That
oats.
helped a lot.
No, it does help, but I don't think it helped psychologically if you didn't need to get to that point. Because I felt like that was like a fail-safe of, my head's a bit messed up, I need to have a bit of variance food-wise, but if you hadn't had been that mega messed up, you wouldn't have probably need to have done that. You know, where like, let's say for my first, I needed probably more help mentally last year than I did in my first prep. Granted, condition was different. It was a different sort of prep, more pressure, stuff like that. But like last year, I had no issue at all being like, right, cool, this is the plan. Like how we ran through things last year was very much, I took photos, sent them through to you. I told you my body weight. I said, this is what I think we should do. What do you reckon? You were like, yay or nay. A few times you were like, I reckon you get a burger tonight instead of just doing that. And I'd go, okay, cool. And then there were times where I'd go, you know what, mate, I don't really want this. Why don't we do this? And you were like, yeah, sound. You know, that's...
A lot of it is based on
Yeah.
like, well, it's difficult when it's maybe someone who's not as experienced, but like a lot of the time with clients, especially clients who have competed before, like I'll ask them like, what do you actually want to do? Like, or if I'll say like,
Do you feel
would you
full?
rather
Do
have a
you feel-
deload
yeah.
or a devolume like week, or do you actually, would you rather me give you 2 high days, or do you want to go for a nice meal out? Like things like that.
Yeah.
Which I do think help, but then also it's difficult as a first timer. That's difficult.
Yeah.
Because then they're like overthinking everything.
I really liked, like, obviously for like my first time prep, it was a case where, like I said earlier, 0 refeeds, 0 high days, no deloads, other than I had a deload at 12 weeks out because I think I got ill, like that was it. And it was like, right, I feel pretty fucked, I'll take a few days off. But I really liked didn't really have any food focus. Like I didn't have a meal after any of the shows. I was very much a case where like I just got fresher into the final shows, and I really liked how things went. But again, looking back, I wouldn't have had to have had a harsh decline from like 8 weeks out. And a lot of people, if I was like, say, every time I posed, Finn was like, your back's fat, your back's fat, your back's fat. And when you get to a point where your front's legitimately in and you're like, oh, what the fuck? You're constantly getting told that. A lot of people's head would have gone when it comes to like, but I remember literally saying to you, right, how much weight do you reckon I have to pull off? And you were like, 4 kilos, 5 kilos. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't did an hour of cardio. I did 20k steps. But a lot of people, I think, when they were that lean, because I was like really, really fucking lean for a first time. Like for the first show, I was inside out peeled for a men's physique. Like I was really lean for that. But for a lot of people, I think they would have been like, the average Joe who wouldn't have got lean as I did in my
Yeah,
teens, they would have lost their head and they would have been like, fuck this.
Can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. But again, it depends on who you're working with. Where like last year, I had no issue at all saying, right, what do you reckon? And then there was some days where I'd say, just tell me, cool. You know, in between shows, I was like, just tell me, what do you reckon? And I had no issue with that. But for next year, I think it would be a case where the challenge is, obviously, I have a lot more muscle. What I'm doing on this little pre-prep tidy up is I'm going to be a lot more aggressive, obviously, because it's a pre-prep, it's not a prep. But once I pull off that initial like 5 to 8 kilos, which for like a natty, like if you're listening to this and you're like, let's say
Maybe
80
you could
kilos,
pull that off in like
it sounds
a
a
week.
lot. I'll be 3 kilos down tomorrow. I would be very surprised if I'm not like 3-4 kilos down. It wouldn't be. I'll have 10 kilos off within 10 days at most. You know, like it'll be a kilo a day minimum. Like for me at this body weight, because I'm really, really heavy, and realistically as well, when you have more muscle, when there's, let's say, insulin use, GH, etc. Like I've pulled all that out just so I can get a real good blanket assessment, and then I'll probably put GH back in towards like maybe the latter end of this sort of like pre-prep just to assess the look, because I'd have that in for a prep. But I want to have more frequent high days where it's like maybe I run every weekend. On Saturday, 900 carb, you know, and like maybe on Friday, so it leads into Saturday, and get that data. Because if I was to run a prep now and do what I did in my first prep, Jesus Christ, I'd lose muscle, and it wouldn't be what open bodybuilding's about. Open bodybuilding, enhanced open bodybuilding. Like you do realise, like we said it about Conran yesterday. I know obviously he's in the juniors, but Conran in the gym, we look at him and we think he looks good. But he's not inside out.
Yeah, but then
he steps on stage and he's the leanest in the entire show.
It's the standard though.
Yeah.
Like,
but I wouldn't want to step on stage next year. And like Sam said it to me. Sam was like, he was like, well, you wouldn't need to get as lean as you did last year. He was like, that look at the Fitex and PTA was stupidly conditioned. I was like, well, I kind of would. Because as much,
why wouldn't you?
Like, yeah, I'd want to. Like, yes, I don't need to.
Condition wins shows. Like, you see people who aren't the biggest, but they're literally inside out, and it makes you look twice as big.
Yeah.
And if you can pose well, you'll win shows. Like most people will step on stage and they've probably got, let's say, £5 where you could like, you'd probably still pull off another like £5. Five to maybe like a high standard, a few pounds.
Yeah.
At maybe a lower standard, you're looking at like £5 to £10.
Yeah.
Like we were saying with Conran, like Conran's really, really lean.
Yeah, really.
But from the back, we were both like, he needs more. Thanks, mate. Fin10. He needs more.
It's actually my shaker. Oh, mine's not shaking. My
I
bottle.
left mine at home.
Yeah.
Awful. We were basically saying, weren't we? Like, he does need to be leaner through his glutes and hamstrings.
Yeah.
He does, and his glutes and hamstrings were leaner than everyone's.
Yeah,
and
he was
like,
he was the leanest at the entire show from all the people we saw. I'd say.
in certain areas. From the front, still not from the back, but his glutes were lean. From the back, I was like, shit, his glutes and his hamstrings look really good.
Who else? Like, again, there probably were some people. But I don't really
There
see
were quite a
anyone
lot
with,
of
like,
people that were
strict
very
glutes,
lean. No, I didn't
like,
see
top
really.
to bottom.
No.
Like you wouldn't see you'd see better glutes on a UKDFB overalls like stage by quite some distance, you know.
On that, he's 12 weeks out now.
Yeah, probably. Like,
Mate, it's the standard now.
It's PCA standard. It's not even PCA standard. It's standard for enhanced bodybuilders. You can get away with it. And I think again, like it's understanding who you're up against. Like when I did classic last year, like one of the Andrew said, like afterwards he was like, your hamstrings are way too lean for classic. Like the guys that beat me had off-season hamstrings for what I consider, but that's because I was doing classic. Because I'm smaller than what I would be now.
It's also based on your body fat distribution. You can't go, actually, I'll just put some fat on my hamstrings, because there's certain areas that aren't lean enough.
When we saw physique show the photo from the overall, I had the leanest delts, the leanest arms, but they were pointy in comparison to the overall winners, which are bubbly. So I'm expecting to be rounder and fuller through here, but tighter through my lower back in comparison. And then it's just like, you've got
to work with what you've got.
You've got to work with what you've got. And like sometimes, like genetically, it can be like, I know genetically I'm not an absolute alien, but I pop muscle really easily. I've also got a very, very wide frame. And if I was to be like maxed out in comparison to most bodybuilders, I would say that you would look at me and say, you're genetically very good. Yeah. Like I've never been small. I've got a very good frame. I've got good proportions. Like I would say, like if you were to look at my, like if you were to skip 3 years down the line, I think most people go, Jesus Christ, you're a bit of a freak. People they do now. But I know that with and I said this last year when I prepped, there was going to be flaws to my physique because not many people are as structurally as wide as me. Not many people probably have the delt development that I do. And as a result, it's like, oh, your chest could be a bit bigger or your chest goes flat and stuff like that. But again, you have to work with what you've got. Like in the first few years as a bodybuilder, like let's say Jack Crossdale yesterday. Shout out Jack. you look really good, you're just fat. I said this to Danny afterwards. I was like, you would have probably won the whole show if you would have won the class.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he
You
probably
would
would
have
have won the class.
You would have been.
His upper body's really, really good.
Yeah, his upper body's class. But when it comes to somebody like him, when you're starting out, that compact bodybuilder looks fucking awesome because it's easier to fill that frame. You then look at someone like Comran. Comran, if he was maxed out his classic weight cap, Jesus Christ, Comran would be a joke. Comran could be a classic pro. It is like, if he was maxed out, if he was to go to a pro qualifier, I'd suggest Comran would do very, very well. He might not be winning a pro card initially, but he would, yeah, exactly. But it's all about what you've got to work with. And I think nowadays, a lot of people, they're so obsessed regarding genetics or shape or structure. If you've got a stupidly fucking shit waist and your shoulders are narrow, okay, you probably aren't. You're not going to be amazing. But you still got to work with what you've got. You know, there's plenty of, like, let's say Shredder, that dude. He is not, like, he's a joke condition-wise.
Yeah, he's got a small frame.
His front relaxed is poor. It's not amazing.
He's got a small frame. He's not got a wide clavicle.
No.
But he gets absolutely peeled. And he wins shows. A lot of shows.
He wins a lot of shows, and he's a joke. When he turns around, he hits any shot, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, his glutes are ridiculous.
And you can only control with what you got. And what we said, or what we got told yesterday about from Ben, he was like, well, all your guys get stupid condition. I was like, well, as a coach, you know, what do you expect?
I also think as well, you have got to have that balance. Like,
yeah, you can't just over diet something.
Yeah, there's some people who, like, for example, Josh, my guy in Canada.
Yeah.
He keeps saying like, oh, I want to be leaner, and it's like, mate, like, you're peeled.
you don't
like,
need to be.
yeah, he's got like maybe a little bit that he could pull off his glutes or a little bit off his lower back, but like his quads are striated, like ridiculous. He's peeled, and like he won't look any better if I just push him. So I'm literally saying to him like, I know you want to be better, mate. Like you've got 2 weeks to be better, and that's going to come through posing, being fresh, being full, and stop stressing. Because he's stressing about being better. That's what the issue is. Like towards the back end of a prep, people just stress about wanting to be so good. And even throughout a prep, like the clients that I find that struggle the most with the prep are the ones who just put the most pressure on themselves. Yeah. I want to be the best. I want to be winning this, winning that. Like, and that's great. But if you put so much pressure on yourself that it just drives up stress to the point where you're not sleeping, you're basically constantly in a like high stress state. That's going to have an impact on fat loss. Like, yeah, you could argue, well, my heart rate's going to be higher. I'm stressed. I'm going to burn more calories. But it's more so the sense of like you're not going to be digesting your food as well. You're going to have to therefore have lower food. You're going to therefore feel worse. You're going to not be getting as much sleep. You're going to therefore feel worse. Like, it's the indirect impact that it has. I think people like think, oh, surely like putting pressure on myself isn't going to stop me from losing fat. It's just the indirect impact it has.
There is a fine line though, because if you're just going into it being like, I'm just competing to compete, like when you're not going to want to do that cardio session at 3 weeks out, you won't do it, or you'll do it with shit intensity.
Everybody should want to win. Everybody should want to be the best. Yeah. But when you put like, I put way too much pressure on myself in the sense of like, mine wasn't just like, I want to win. It was like, I can't let anyone down. Like, and not even
you did. You're crying, saying, "I feel like I let everyone down, let you down, let me down."
No, but
and
in
I
the
was
sense
like,
of like,
you haven't let anyone down. You just haven't won because you're shit.
You're not good
and then you ended up winning, which is mad.
Yeah, I did win. No, in the sense of like, not even Shannon, you, etc. More so like when you're running a business that is around it. You know what I mean? Like, let's say next year you did shit and you cheated on your diet, which you obviously wouldn't. Like, you're laughing thinking about it, but imagine if you did.
Yeah. No, I do cheat on my diet. I just take more clean.
Yeah.
But like, I sit in my car and go, fuck.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, when you've got a standard to hold yourself to, which is what we do in everything that we do, if you then miss the mark, it's like, fucking hell, it's annoying. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you know you've done everything that you could. And if anything, I pushed myself too far to the point where it was like, I've actually put myself in a worse spot because I was putting that pressure on myself. Whereas if I'd have just been like, I look really good at 160. I'm happy with this. Like, I think I could probably win some shows at this. Like, I'd have probably been way better and not been stressing myself out.
You are right. Like, Comran, for example, like, I know he didn't win yesterday, but like,
because he jumped into it.
Yeah, he jumped into it early. He slept really well all week. He wasn't really planned. This whole prep was on. He was on holiday 13 days before he stepped on stage. He was on holiday 13 days before. He'd had a week of acclimation training from the holiday, and then he had a week of like peak week training. Well, from Tuesday when we decided, okay,
so he's not trained properly for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so he hadn't trained properly for a couple of weeks. He just done really pump work, and he was like looking really good. Came in a lot faster than I thought he would pre-holiday. And we were in the car, and he said, "Comrade," I said, "Comrade, just messaged me," and you were like, "Could do." he looks all right. Yeah. And he's got better. And like he sent me through photos after the session today. I was like, you look the best you've seen. You've looked the best you've looked because he's probably just had a really good weekend. He was really happy with the result. He was really happy with the look.
With the photos.
Yeah, his photos. He was like, I look great.
Well.
Yeah. And
did he go for food after?
Yeah. I gave him like a Nando's order. It was like 1,400 calories. And then he messaged me afterwards like, fancy dessert? Can I have dessert? I was like, no, mate, dessert wasn't on the plan. And then he was like, okay, I'll have some and go to bed. So he was like a kilo up. But then he only gained like 0.3 of a kilo from. He was actually lower. His lowest weight was show day out of the whole week. So it was like he gained a bit, gained half a kilo, and then came down. So it was like by the time that was because I actually gave him a diazide according to Danny Howarth. He was like, "What'd you do with Conrad? He looks so hard and dry." You gave him a diazide. I was like, "No, I just like washed him up appropriately, but also didn't load him much because it wasn't really."
He's actually lean.
Yeah, he's actually lean.
It's not watered body fat. He's not got much.
No. Did you not give Jack a diazide? That's why. No, Jack. You look really
Jack's
good.
very good. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's class. Like
he just needed to be. But again, it's an early show.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I'm going to spin the question around. What you said. What do you think if I was to say I'm doing next year? What do you think? Cause some controversy. What do you reckon if you were to be like, let's say, going for a coach, not going for a coach, things I could do better, things I could do worse. Like, what would you say?
I think you have matured like quite a lot since you last competed. And even since the time before, a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's a fly in here.
Yeah. It's on there as well, you see that? Yeah. Loving that. He's soaking up the light.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah.
Like, the first time you competed, I think which is fine, but your ego was huge. Like, you thought you were going to just walk to any show and win. Like, and then I think if anything, before the second prep, it was probably the same. And then it was like a bit of a kick in the teeth, kind of like, oh shit, when you didn't win at the PCA. And then, and that was, because also that was a bit annoying as well, because it was like, you should have won that. Yeah. Like, and then the two bros was like,
if I got beat really easily, yeah, I would have been, but I literally left
the two bros was more so the one where it was like, okay, like,
they're not better than me bodybuilders wise, but
it was like a bit of a taking your medicine, like, okay, right, I need to change this approach.
I don't feel like I took it in a bad way. It was just
no,
like,
you didn't.
I remember saying, I
like,
literally had Sam in front of the camera and I was just like, I said to you, look at that dude there and look at me. I'm not him and he's winning the overall. That's cool. That's fine. I just need to change what I'm doing, but I'm just small for what I need to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was more so like accepting where you're at that point.
Yeah.
Like, but I think...
But I will agree, in my first prep, like it was the case where when I won the overall, it wasn't like, yes, I won an overall. It was like, thank God, okay, that's what I expected. Yeah. Like it was like, okay, cool. You know?
Yeah, but then I think at the Arnolds, when like you had not 1 ounce of you thought Jack Eagles would beat you. And even I didn't, to be fair, because
we'd seen Jack and Daddy.
No, but we'd seen him last year as a natty and we were like, I doubt he'd beat you. Like, and then obviously he did it, it was like, oh shit. Like, and then you sort of realise, because it's like anything, like if you're not being the best at it, you then question yourself a bit and you go, oh shit, actually maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was, which is actually good because you learn from it. Yeah, definitely. Nobody learns from winning everything all the time, and nobody ever does that. Like, I don't think it's very rare you see anyone just win everything that they do. Like,
no one, I think, has had a season where they've won everything. You know,
like there's
Jacob got beat by.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, people win their classes, but don't.
Jacob got beat by one
everything.
person his entire prep. You know.
Yeah.
Like Josh, up until the Worlds, won pretty much everything, bar when he was in the overall.
Yeah, but even then, he didn't win every overall. Like,
No. But like Josh would have been like, the same with Jacob. Like, same with me in my first season. I could have done every junior show, and I probably would have won the vast majority. I'd say out of all the juniors in that year, the only ones that were better than me were, officially, Jack and Axel. Yeah. Like, I beat all the juniors that were good. They did finals, and I beat them. Fenton Lee, he didn't, but he would have been good. I think he would have been up there. Yeah. I think he did that year. But otherwise, like, it was a case, and the same with, like, let's say Josh could have done every team class and probably had won every team class.
He did.
Well, he did, yeah. Josh, no, but he didn't do the MBW, but he would have won that, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he did.
But if he had done juniors, he would have probably won the vast majority, would have been beaten a few. You know, like, same with Jacob. Jacob would have won most juniors.
But you do learn from, like, the thing is, if you win a show, like, how often does people give you feedback? You know what I mean? Like, negative feedback. Yeah, no. They just go, oh, mate, well done, you won. Like, so you do learn so much more. But no, I think the main thing for you will be managing workload, managing stress in that sense. And I also think as well, like, when you get to a certain point where you have got a good amount of muscle, your food's going to be high. Yeah. Like, let's face it, you're not going to be prepping on 1,500 calories or whatever you had to in your first prep. It's just not going to be the case. You'll probably be dieting on 3,000 calories, like maybe 2.5 on rest days. Like, Your cardio, I would say you can keep very low, just use steps. Like you won't be as trashed.
No.
So like your decision making and your mental clarity will be better.
Yeah.
We could probably communicate better rather than it being like you questioning things. And because the thing is as well, like, and that's normal. Towards the back end of my prep, like if I asked you something and you said something, I'm still thinking like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? You're never going to just go, I trust you completely. Like you're going to have those questions, and that's normal. Like I think that's the case with anybody. Like even if you 100% trust your coach, you're still going to always have that.
There's going to be times where you're like,
you're still going to always have that thought in your head, and that's healthy as well. Like you shouldn't blindly just do whatever anyone says, like because sometimes you do need to have that thought process of yourself and communicate that. But I don't think it would be impossible for you to do well and prep yourself, but I think you would probably benefit from having someone and just learn from it as well, like, and actually just be an athlete and not try and be, because like again, like last year, like I don't remember competing and just being an athlete. Every show I was being a coach, like every single one, even the one, like even WMBF, every show I did apart from the Fitex, was I was being a coach, and I just jumped on the stage as well. You know what I mean? So it's like that's one thing that I definitely want to do. Like next time I compete in 10 years' time,
in the Masters, in the Grandmasters,
in 15 years. No, but like in all seriousness, next time I do compete, I want to. I'm not going to say I won't be like having clients at that same time of year, but like I'm going to literally be like, right, honestly, man, these are going to be my shows.
Yeah, that's the reason why I want to do audio shows.
Yeah. Like, are you going to make sure like they're my shows?
I think that's what I want to have in my head. I think there's going to be enough.
What I would say as well though is, it's a little bit easier when you've got more shows available. For example.
Oh yeah, in enhance,
If I'm like, I'm going to do the natural PCA,
you're literally saying
I'm saying to like 10, 15 people, no, you can't.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So like, I might have to just see as I get closer to it. But that's the one thing that I would say, like, that I definitely learned from last year. The first one that I really realised was the BMBF.
Yeah.
And I had 6 people.
That one you messaged me, you're like...
I messaged you after and I said, I'm going to stop.
I'm not going to be...
I was like, I think I'm just going to be a coach.
And do you want to know the funniest reaction? And I don't think I've ever told you this. I read the message, and honestly, a part of me was like, good decision. I'm not even joking. I actually, like, the part of it was like, good. Yeah. Like, because you were fucked at that point, and I was like...
I wasn't,
no,
like...
but I was on holiday, and I remember, like, you were messaging me a few voice notes, and I was like...
Fuck off, my holiday.
No. I think Finn's losing his head here. And that's why I think I said to you, I think I replied, like, give me a call whenever you get a moment, mate. Because I was like, and I think then you didn't call me because you got a good result. But I was like, in my head, I was like, I might just tell him.
But like, I was massively in my head. But I was like, you know when you're backstage and you just think, I'm last.
Yeah, I've never thought that. But I know what you mean.
But like, I literally was like, I am awful. Yeah. Like, and then I saw the photos and I was like, because I'd been so busy all day, feel like if you were to ask any of my clients that day, I was literally, I felt like I was like on something. I was everywhere. I was constantly on my phone until it was my time to go and pump up, and it was like,
yeah.
And then I went on stage and like my posing was rushed. I was too glazed, and like I hated the photos. Yeah. But like now I look at them and some of them are like my best photos. No, I'm like, fucking hell, I was really full at that show and I actually looked pretty good. I didn't look dead like I did that later shows.
I looked at like the photos for my first time I showed my first prep, and in my head I was like, I'm fucking small. I look back and think like, I look really aesthetic. I look really good. Like I almost miss that look.
It is weird when you look back. Prep like, does mess up your
and also
perception.
I think like where you're at in the moment, like I got in that prep, I didn't have at all this amount of following I had. But people in the gym, when they saw me train in like a tank top, in that Gymshark fucking tank top. Gymshark, yeah, the Gymshark tank top, so I'd pull it in to make myself look even better. Look better. Not look better, just look like you could see more nip and just like more serratus, fucking lap,
Good to see some nip.
Yeah, more nip. And like, I'd have loads of people come up to me in the gym and say stuff, but in my head I was like adamant I was small, and I'd have probably more people, because nowadays I think people look at me and they probably just think, oh, he's fucking pretty big. But so people don't need to come up and say, you're looking jacked, bro, because it's like, in a way, it's like quite obvious I'm well muscled.
Quite obvious I'm jacked.
Fucking obvious I'm jacked, bro. But I look back at those photos and I think like, no wonder I had more people coming up, because it was quite a pleasing look.
It was a
nicer look.
People,
I had, let's say, a small waist, I had good abs, Mate, my first prep, yeah, definitely. My waist was both smaller.
Your waist is like tripled now.
It is weird. It's
not weird.
It happens. It's fucking growth hormone shit. Growth hormone to the waist.
Weird. Like I've put on like 200 pounds of body weight.
Yeah,
and,
just like
I don't know what's happened.
my waist. No actual muscle gain. But no, like I had a small waist. I still do when I'm lean. Like last year, I didn't have a big waist, but it's definitely not as tight. It wasn't as you put on muscle everywhere. You put on more meat. You get older as well. That also and also stiff legging fucking 300 plus kilos constantly probably doesn't help. But
Constantly doing it now.
yeah, bro.
You not see?
Yeah, you're not seeing, man. I mean, I'm stiff legging fucking.
Under the table.
Have you not seen how heavy
Got a
I am?
belt on.
Me just standing up's the stiff leg at this point with how much weight I'm carrying. But like, it was a very aesthetic and nice look. I looked like an influencer, you know, where they're
It's
like
a
lean
more
look.
appealing look for the general population.
Yeah.
They go, oh, he looks cool.
Yeah, but
Whereas
in the
like now
moment-
it's like
in the
he's
moment,
big,
I
like-
look at it and think, in the moment, I was like, I'm small.
in the
tiny.
moment, yeah.
In that moment.
In the moment.
In that moment, I looked at myself and thought I look small. Where now I look back and think, oh, that's quite a nice look. But you don't enjoy it. Where like, if you were to show me how I look now 10 years ago, I'd be like, fucking hell, that's disgusting. But I think, oh, I'm not as big as, I don't know, Josh Dougal. He's younger than me. I need to be bigger.
Competed the other day.
Huh? Yeah, Josh
There was a Josh Dougal lookalike.
Yeah, he finished third, I think.
He didn't look like him in physique.
Yeah.
Just his hair and his face.
But I look at that and think, oh, like I'm not as big as this dude, and I compare it and think, oh, I'm fucking small, I'm shit.
That's what bodybuilding does to you, though. And I think that is what is, not to say the problem with it, but it is really.
It's
Like,
the problem if you can't actually be rational and view it. Like, if you only view the negatives, you know, and only like, let's say, for example, when I posed like a week or two ago, and you literally said, weird, isn't it? Like how you look smaller when you're fatter. And because I look at myself
when you
and I'm
cried
like,
yourself to sleep.
no, I don't cry myself to sleep. Yeah, I do.
You rang your mum.
You rang my mum being like,
Been bullying me again.
no, and I came home and was like, I think it's fake gear. Oh, it's fake gear.
Double checking everything.
Double checking, like, need a steroid test kit now. What the fuck? No, but like, I'm 90 pounds. I'm not small, but I look at myself and think, I look smaller than when I was at 260.
I think a lot of it is as well, though, like, and we've said it before, like, we see each other pretty much every day.
Yeah.
So, like, even
When
if...
we were at training with Intent, you know, in the Conte guys,
Yeah.
every single one of them, or most of them, were like, fucking hell, Reece.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm like, I look shit.
Yeah.
Like, I look small.
Yeah, it is, and the thing is as well, like, I won't blow smoke up your arse unless you're really good. Like, you know what I mean? And like, you wouldn't to me, like, and that's good. I wouldn't want you to.
It never will be.
I know.
Yeah.
But like, it shouldn't be where, like, yeah, it's nice. People go, oh mate, you look really good. But also it's like, almost just empty kind of compliments, you know what I mean? It's easy to go, oh mate, you look big. Like, I've had people that I haven't seen since prep go, oh mate, you look like you've grown. It's like, well, I'm like, it's 9 months and I'm like 40 odd pounds up and I'm just fatter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, I'm making loads of
I've
insane
rebounded
progress.
so well.
Like,
You rebounded awfully. Look at Vegas.
it's just, but I saw Sam today and I was like, do you remember the Vegas? Because he took some photos of me.
Yeah.
Like, remember me in Vegas? He was like, yeah mate, you like, how much heavier are you now? I was like, I'm like 40 pounds heavier. He was like, you look better now. I was like, I know. You're leaner now. I was like, I know. But yeah, like, I don't think it doesn't do anyone any good being told how good they are all the time.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, when we have clients checking in, like, every week, oh bro, you look sick. Like, that's not going to make anybody any better. No. Like, so yeah, I think in terms of next year, you need, if you were to have someone coaching you as well, you need someone who doesn't just, because then you'd have conflicting opinions. Yeah. You'd have someone telling you how good you are, and then you'd have probably me, maybe even Sanaya, being honest with you and going, yeah, you're good, but mate, like, you need to be leaner still. And you're like, but you'll know that as well. Yeah. Imagine if you had a coach going, oh mate, you look amazing, and you're like, I've still got like 20 pounds to pull off.
And because I've been there and I'm also not an idiot like, when it comes to that. I think again, it's like one of those where I'm not gonna, and this sounds really cocky, so I'm gonna like preference this. This is not me trying to sound cocky. But if, let's say when we had Nath, you could tell when I said to Nath, when he was like, who would you work with? I said him, I said, you be one. And he smiled, he was like, you could see it kind of exciting.
Well, yeah, it'd be a good client. Imagine if like you signed up with someone, they'd be happy.
No, and if I was to apply with any coach in the country that isn't honestly on that, like, let's say, I don't know who's the top coach in the country. Let's say Callum, he works with loads of VIP pros. To Callum, I'd be like, oh, I'm a good client. But if I was to apply with Tom Hames or Nath or Dan Bastick, I can guarantee they'd be like, oh, they'd probably show their training partner. They'd be like, Reece, fucking apply. It'd be a good client. And they also would know how I am. I wouldn't miss a beat. But I also would need, like, from that, I wouldn't then want that to be perceived as like, okay, I don't want to be told I'm fucking good. I'd almost want to say, like, if I was to go with somebody,
Yeah,
please
I
don't
think,
tell me
I
I'm
don't
fucking
think
great.
they would. Like,
You know, like,
do you think
because
Dan Bastick would be like that? I don't think so.
No.
Do you think
No.
Nath would maybe be? But I think if
Yeah.
you learn about people,
I think that's
like,
because I'm already like somewhat good mates with Nath. I'd like to say, like, we're quite
bros, yeah.
we're bros. No, but like if I said to Nath, like, hey Nath, do you want to go for? Do you want to train?
Go for a drink.
You want to go for a training session, bro? Yeah, if I said to Nath, do you want to train? He'd probably say no. I'd probably kill him when it comes to some things. But he would be like, yeah, sick. You know, where I feel like when you have that level of like respect for each other, you sometimes naturally a little bit nicer. Like, I bet you're nicer to Josh Campbell because you get on with him.
Yeah, but there's also some but there's also some times where then I can almost be harsher to Josh. If Josh wasn't pulling his weight, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
I wouldn't say that to some
No,
clients, you know what I mean? Right, guys, we had a little break. I needed a wee. Reese needed some whey and dark chocolate.
Pro facts. I didn't even speak about the pre-prep diet, about how aggressive it's been. RFL.
How aggressive it's been today.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock, so I'm like 14 hours deep, 13 hours, 14 hours deep into the first RFL day.
You need to message your coach and ask for a refeed. Say you're struggling.
I'm struggling, yeah, I've had...
Mate, should I feel like this? Feel a bit dizzy.
For reference, guys, I've had 210 grams of whey, so 3 servings, 70 grams. I've had 60 grams of dark chocolate and 5 eggs. So...
What's your final meal? Whey and dark chocolate.
You know, I was going to have a bagel, like bagel thins and then like beef burgers, but I'm just going to do the beef burgers, I reckon. Like, I'm just not going to do the bagels. I said to Finn, I was like, until I actually like...
See, this is why you're a bad client.
I'm over dieting. I'm pushing myself too much. I'm deciding not to have carbs. 'Cause I feel fine. And I should feel fine. I'm fucking fat. Like, I am legitimately obese. I don't need carbs. I'm fine. Imagine telling a client, like, this is the weird thing. And again, it's not good, but I can get away with it now. Imagine being like, hey mate, right, pre-prep diet. And he just checks in, hey mate, I've actually had no carbs on rest days. You'd be a bit like, okay, sounds like, but
it's annoying. Like,
Yeah, you'd
tell
be
me
like,
if you want to do that, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah. If clients want to push a bit harder, like, you're not
I'm
against
never down.
it.
Yeah, if a client said to me at 12 weeks out, mate, I feel fine. I'm gonna push. I'd be
Yeah.
like, as long as they're like not way ahead, I'll be like, sound.
When they say it and they're already
Yeah,
like very
3
close,
weeks
you're
ahead,
like,
you're like,
no, you
yeah,
don't.
please
need that.
don't. Right, so both of your bodybuilding/life goals in the next 6 months, 1 year, or 3 years. So 6 months, any goals? No goals.
0 goals.
0 goals.
Recover from a prep.
Get my testosterone back to 3 nanomole.
Well, we can't really say too much.
No, there's a lot of goals coming out. We've got a lot of things
Coming out, yeah.
coming out.
My goals are coming out.
Coming out. No, there's a lot of things
Coming out my ears, my goals are. Coming out my mouth, everything.
Yeah. Get the light for that.
Yeah. Right. Let's do bodybuilding goals. So
Okay.
within the next 6 months, finish off this little push, have a mini cut, get into a good spot where I'm like, oh shit, I actually.
What do you want to
look
get down
alright.
to?
Like 185, something like that. Nothing crazy.
Sort of like £20 off. Or 25.
Yeah, it'd be about. Well, the plan is get to 205, pull that down to 180, 185.
Yeah.
Go on holiday, look relatively good, relatively lean. Come back, push on for the majority of the year, pull back again. And yeah, basically just like outside of like when you say bodybuilding goals, like my competitive bodybuilding goals legitimately aren't for at least 2-3 years because I need to be a lot better.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll spend time. I don't need to compete. You know, I've done it, and I've done it twice, and I've done it to a good enough level where I'm content and people like
people look at you and think, oh, Finn's actually a bit of a bodybuilder.
Well, also like I think as well like I put a few things on my story the other day just to remind my clients or people within a prep like I'm not asking you to do things that I haven't done or it's normal to feel how you feel. Like that's one thing that we always said when we started this podcast that we wanted to actually educate people on, especially people who haven't been there before. Actually, what you can expect within a prep, what you can expect within peak off season, what you can expect when you're going into a big, heavy, scary set, those kind of things. That's kind of why we started this podcast anyway, and like things that we speak about in the gym. But yeah, I'd say in the next 6 months, like have a good diet, get back into a good gaining phase, feel good. That heads us into the start of the new year, and then I can kind of map out like when my next prep will be. Then that's after the first push up and pull back, like which makes sense. I think if you're deciding, fair enough, if like you're somebody who wants to map it out pretty much as soon as you step off stage.
I think it's pointless.
But yeah, I think you need some time to actually recover and
I think having a rough time frame makes sense.
Depends
but
as
again,
well. Like at the back end of my prep, the last thing that I really
Yeah,
wanted to be
have
thinking about was like, when am I next going to compete? It
Yeah.
was like, I want to actually get myself back into a good spot.
Yeah,
Like,
and also I think it depends on complete goals and objectives. Like, ideally, I think I'll compete most years from next year until I'm done because I'm enhanced. I'll be 26 next year, and it'll be a case where like I don't really fancy like being like I'm having another 2 years off and I'm 28 and another 2 years and I'm 30. Like if I compete next year and I'm way off, I don't think I will be, but I know I won't be. I won't compete. I won't be taking PEDs, but it would be a case where I go, okay, cool. I want to be where I need to be, and then I'll go from
you
there.
say
and
way
keep going.
off, like the level. If you're just bothered about a PCA universe,
Yeah.
like fair enough, you're at a good level for that maybe next year.
yeah,
But then
yeah.
if you win that won't be it. You know what I mean?
No. I more mean in the way of like if I step on stage and I look, say like for example, I look at it and think, fucking like I get beat by like let's say Storm for example. Like if I like judging like Judge Storm's really good, but if I was competing like I'm worse than fucking 10 of my clients, then I'm not going to be. But if I was, I'd be like, okay, I'm clearly this ain't for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not going to be the case. But like, you know, like I feel like when you get to a point where it's like, if you have so many of your clients that's like better than you, you're like, probably not actually. This may be not for me.
Yeah, but I mean, what I mean is you get to a point where, let's say you do win PCA Universe, then you're like, right, now I want an IFBB Pro card. Let's say you get that.
Yeah.
Then you're right at the bottom of that level,
Yeah.
and then you're like, right, now I want to be at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And like, even if you get to that point, like, are you realistically going to be at the level? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you couldn't be, like.
Oh no, I don't think I will be. I think.
Yeah, but with how you are and how competitive you are, which is good.
Yeah.
You will want to be, and then it's like,
But if
how far do you push
seeing
it?
progression, I don't really mind. But it would be when I get to the point where I'm like, capped
Yeah, I'm
out.
not actually getting better.
Yeah, like if I was, I personally think my peak will be like a very average to decent pro. I think that would be where I'd be. I think if I was to go into a pro show and I'm like late 20s, early 30s, and I'm like, it's an all right lineup, I think I could be like a top 3. Do I think I'm going to qualify for the Olympia? I don't think so, but I think I could. I don't think it would be, if you were to say in 10 years, do I qualify for the Olympia? I'd be like, I potentially could. But I don't think it would be like, let's say Eagles. Eagles is going to be on the Olympia stage. I'd have no doubts about that. Unless he gets a really bad injury, touch wood, he's going to be on the Olympia stage. I am a very, very, very good, but not an absolute freak genetically. Like, and I know that. But I also put on muscle really easily. So let's just see. If I was maxed out, I think I could beat a lot of people. But at the same time, next year, if I was to compete and I get second or third in a fucking PCA Universe show, the following year I get second or third, I go, okay, cool, that's me done. I don't think that's going to be the case of how responsive I am and how things are. But again, it really depends. So my goals for the next year, because I will be competing within the next year, would be win pretty much like the vast majority of any PCA show that I do. That would include like the top end PCA shows, do a 2 bros show and do an open lineup and hold my own. Do all right. That's not to say I think I'd be good enough to be like winning an overall. You look at the 2 bros overall winners, they're usually really fucking good. I don't think I'll be at that level yet, but I think I'd like to be touching within that. And then the following year, that'll be when it's like, right, 2 bros, NPC, potential pro qualifiers, depending on how things are. And then the following year, that'll be where I'll be like, right, I think I could be at like a pro amateur level. But I also think with my structure and how things are, I think if I was to win a pro card, I think I'd be pretty good as a pro. I think that's how I would be. I don't think it would be like I go from here to there, because I'd be maxed out frame wise probably, and I'd probably be pretty decent. But again, talk is cheap, doesn't matter, we'll see. Other goals, loads of goals coming out of our ears. If you could 2-foot any...
This was supposed to be quick fire questions.
Okay,
and
if
you
you could
chose...
two- okay.
Mate,
If you could 2-foot...
mate, they're not all yours. I've got plenty of questions.
This is a quick one. If you could 2-foot any player and put them out for the rest of for the next season, who would you 2-foot? The guy put up a photo of Mark Cucurella today being like, I'd love to curb stomp him. Jack Kelly, shout out Jack Kelly, one of my clients. Who would you injure for the entire of next season?
Trying to think of who's been awful for United.
You hate
like
Mohamed Salah.
Rashford.
So
I don't hate Salah, he's just not very good.
such a bad shout.
He's not.
If he played for United, you'd be like, he's the best player on the team. Would he be United's best player? Yes. And you would be like, oh, I really like...
Nah, he's not a better footballer than Bruno. He's maybe more efficient, but he's not a better
Mate,
footballer.
That's a mid for mid comparison. Like, Bruno's not good technically. You can't say like he's not a better... Mate, Bruno's awful technically. Ahmad is better than... Ahmad Diallo is better technically than Bruno. He's better technically than Bruno.
Nah, he's not.
Sancho's better technically than Bruno. Sancho's has got
Yeah,
the work
Sancho's
ethic
good
and
technically.
physique of like a 40-year-old retired like professional. You know.
I don't know
Yeah.
There's no one really.
I thought originally when I saw it, I thought any Liverpool player
Harry
really
Kane after
pisses
last
me
night.
off. Yeah. To be fair, mate, like 2 foot, he's already out. He can't run. He's ruling himself out. He needs that German eye line where like there's no defenders.
There isn't really anyone like at United. Maguire. He's not even that bad.
He
Like.
ain't going to play as much either. Before he's not me, I ain't be there.
Yeah.
Anyone else with other clubs that you just really don't like? Or you think, oh yeah, like, don't like him. I don't really care. Like, I don't like certain players. I'm not a massive fan of like Bernardo Silva. I'm not going to be like
Bernardo.
Yeah, but I like him technically. I just don't really like him as a player because he's a bit of a twat. Same as like Bruno. You know, but I like when Bruno plays against Liverpool because he's a bit of an enemy. When like Endo goes into him, I'm like, yeah, fuck off, Bruno. You know, I like that. There's not are there any players. Do you know who I think would struggle? Jude, because I think he wouldn't like being out of the limelight and he loves a bit of PR. So
What if he was injured?
yeah, I think he'd struggle, and I think he could come back and he'd like have a bit of like personality crisis.
To be fair, like I'm trying to think. There isn't anyone that it'd be a player on your team that
Yeah,
you
it
don't
would
want to
be,
play.
yeah.
It wouldn't be someone else where you go like, oh, I just want to hurt them.
Yeah.
I just want to hurt someone.
I think Casemiro, he's
He
washed.
can't be playing still.
No, but if he
played
was
today.
yeah, he's washed. Right.
When's the podcast merch dropping? Hope you've recovered from the final. We haven't. We're still upset. We didn't sleep last night. We went out.
We've actually just been drinking since. This isn't Hydroflow. This is
Rosé.
yeah, rosé. This is just some cherry cherry vodka.
Like I said, the merch, like it will be. Again, it's on the to-do list
Yeah.
with a million things
Yeah. Love you too.
from your mum.
Love you too. Do more recapping of the big shows that are qualifying guys for Olympia. That's things again. Once we get everything sorted, we could just hop in and go. Look, this is Sam or whoever we've got because we said Sam charges too much. We've got a guy to just whack it together. Whack on the Van Pro and we talk about John Jewett because that was like a cool lineup and that wouldn't need more than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like there was only
Well,
like
it
probably
might
3
be
or 4
literally
big.
like 20-minute videos. Like.
You see, Stanimal got 8th in that. You know the guy that was at Elevate and we were like, that's Stanimal, what?
Yeah.
We didn't even know who it was. Like,
Craig Goliath was going to win it.
yeah, Craig Elias was the best.
He'd beat
bodybuilder
John
there.
Jewett, to be fair.
Yeah, he'd beat anybody. Yeah, he's huge.
If you weren't coaching / in the fitness business, what do you think you'd be doing now?
Unemployed or both working at Tesco.
We said, didn't we, during COVID?
Yeah, during the last lockdown, which 2021, we were both like, should we just stop being coaches? Just work at Tesco and just have some fun together, like just stacking shit.
I reckon we'd have a laugh.
I think it would be pretty fun. Jacob says he works at Asda and he's like, I really like it. He's just
I want to be Tesco.
Tesco. It has to be Tesco. Right.
Yeah, we don't answer that one. Or was that serious?
Yeah, serious Tesco.
We have answered that before. Like, I think we both said it would be something to do with sport, use our degrees. I would probably be within like analysis within football because that's what I was doing at uni.
Yeah.
That's not what my degree was, but I did that like on the side.
Yeah.
So it probably would be something to do with that, which would be really cool. Like imagine being like an analyst at a top level club, like that'd be sick.
Or like for me, S&C. Like I'd go down, get my masters, do it at like a football or rugby club, which I think would be quite cool. But that'd be like some line of coaching. If not, maybe like I'd probably just like manage a gym or something. I think being in the industry somewhere.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. What's the highest body weight in that you could get without getting stupid fat? I think
Depends on the height.
250 to 265 pounds. Well, I
That's
was
what
like,
they've put.
yeah, I was so at 2021, I got to 112 kilos, which is like what, 230, 235, 240? And I was like chubby, but I wasn't like fat.
Depends
like,
on height. Like,
for reference, I was 93 kilos on stage, but that was assisted. But I was lean the year before at 85 kilos, and I was like peeled the year before that when I went to Cuba at 80 kilos. So like, I probably was like pretty lean at like still 100-ish kilos, like ish, and that was 220, and I was 21. So if I had like maxed out my natty frame and put on like, you know, a pound every 5 years, I think I would have been, I think I could have got to like 240 and been like moderately chubby, but not obese. It really depends as well, like what's your like expectation condition wise.
yeah, what are you classing? What did he put?
Yeah, like
getting stupid fat.
So I could have been 250 without being stupid.
I was 235 and I wasn't stupid
was
fat.
You were stupid fat.
No, I wasn't.
The photo, you weren't stupid.
No, I
You were
wasn't.
bodybuilding stupid fat. You were a normal person.
Kind
A
of
big like,
bit out,
boy.
yeah.
Like the photo of you at the wedding. If the people had known you, they would have been like, "Fucking hell, you put on some weight." But if they'd never known you, like I always say, like my face is fat, but like I think
Really fat.
really
like ridiculous.
But if I was to go into Tesco and say to somebody, "Does my face look stupidly fat?" They'd look at my
Yes.
veins on my forearm and go, Yeah, probably. Why is your face that fat? But if I was wearing like a normal, like a
Because I'm
big
not well.
oversized...
I'm not well, please help.
Yeah, I need to come on gear. I've been blasting for 3 years straight, pursuing a fucking FitX Pro card. No, if I was like wearing like an oversized suit and you couldn't see me, they'd probably go, you just look a little bit chubby. Like, you just look a little bit like...
I think if you're 6'7"
Yeah.
and you're a really good natty, you could get to £300 easily.
Yeah,
and not be stupid
know
fat.
once you're over 6'2".
Slater was 6'6" or something, tall. I could have pushed him up to £300 and he wouldn't have been. He'd have been fat.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't
Once
have
you
been.
get past 6'2", no one cares about body weight. We've said this.
Yeah.
If you're 6'3", or if you're 6'2" plus and you're 260, no one cares. You're small. You are. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Do you think people look bigger in their off season or on prep? Kind of relates to that question.
Depends on in clothes. People look bigger in their off season. I look fucking tiny in clothes in a prep, but take my top off and I look pretty jacked. You know.
So,
No, it's the case. Like you yesterday at the show when you wore that t-shirt, that white tee, and you had the backpack. I actually looked at you and thought you actually look pretty big. Like you don't, but you take your top off and it's like Jesus.
what
Christ.
is that?
Yeah.
And it being sick.
Yeah, like brother, what's that? Like take that. Like you know when you drive in a car and you see something shit, you're like, get that shit off the road. It's like you in the gym, like get that shit out the changing room, bro. Get out the posing.
Why have you been so mean to me? This
Sorry.
whole podcast.
It's the trend. It's come out my system now.
Just today, you
Yes.
started the RFL
Yeah, I'm just.
and you started blasting and you've been horrible.
Nah, man, I'm on 200 tests and 100 maths. That's nothing.
All right, yeah. Just lying to everybody. Right, come on, we'll do one more each.
Favorite carb sources? That's such a shit question.
No, you just literally showed me some that you were buzzing about. You were like, oh, bro, have you seen
It
these?
is actually a good carb source. Not my favourite carb source, it's just a good carb source. What's your favourite carb source?
Dates.
Do you still having dates?
Yeah, I have them in my post-work. No, I have them in my first meal.
Okay, fair enough. So you take them out pre and post?
Fantastic. Yeah, mate, if I was having that many, I'd be just shitting myself constantly.
They're not digestible. So how's your favourite carb source digestible?
'Cause they do. If you just have a lot, they don't.
Okay.
They're very high in fibre.
What's the like? What would you
I'd
call
say
it,
if you're having more than like...
MDS, maximum dates. No, maximum dates per day. PS. MDPS.
PD.
PD. Yeah. Per second. That's what I was thinking. Maximum dates per second. You can't have what 7.
Never
6.
enough. I would say if you're having more than 100 grams a day, you're probably on the toilet a lot.
Yeah.
I'd probably be saying like realistically 50 to 75 maybe.
3 grand.
Who's sending
for
us that?
Those dudes. 3 grand.
Is it an incline?
Yeah, it's the one that we use.
No, we use a decline one. Oh. I quite like that.
Yeah, 3 grand now.
Nah, mate, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, I'm there. Sorry. Right.
What's your favourite carb source?
Sticky rice tilde. Pound, produce 95 carb per pack. Really good.
You just make your own rice. Get yourself a rice cooker.
We have a rice cooker. It's nice been cooking rice because we're saving money because we're broke. Because
It does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, Sanai's made some jasmine rice and stuff, but I do think the sticky rice for like its volume.
It is good, but mate, if you get sushi rice,
Yeah.
not just jasmine rice, get sushi rice. I don't have it at the minute.
Mate,
but
I'd have the carbs. I haven't had a carb all day.
sushi rice is banging. I have a really good question from JPMVMT. I'm going to leave it till next time.
What is it? Just so we know.
It's about binging on prep, getting a pro card when you're binging on prep. So we'll answer it.
No, come on. Let's finish on that.
Okay, right. So then we'll leave the others.
Okay. Yeah, my other ones are pretty naff anyway.
Okay, so we'll answer the other ones next time, guys.
Will Finn ever lose his natty card?
Natty pro card?
Natty pro card.
I think I ever get a Natty pro card.
no.
Yes.
You got a binge.
No, I spoke about my Natty card before.
Yeah.
Basically,
He took Glenn apparently on a comment, and now WNBF been tagged by Thorburn.
no, when I get to an age where I'm probably done with natural bodybuilding and my, let's say, natural testosterone levels are dropping and not coming back up. It's not just dropping from my preps. I probably will. Not in the sense of like trying to be the biggest bodybuilder that I can, but just from a general sort of quality of life aspect. Like, I don't want to be 35, 40 and being like, fucking hell, like,
low energy.
I feel awful, like, can't get an erection just because I'm like, oh, I'm natty.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
especially when I'm knowledgeable enough to not be an idiot with
No.
it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. And I'm 16 and I'm like taking D-ball.
TTTRT.
Yeah, TTTRT, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Right, last question, and then we're going to leave it there. So, JPMVMT asked, good question, binging on a prep and getting a pro card deserved? I'd rather not cheat and not get one. Surely that's not a pro mindset or pro worthy. thoughts.
Okay. I'll take the floor on this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so should we address the elephant in the room? Should we say...
Who we may be talking about?
Yeah, okay, let's be frank. Anyone who's listening to this, I'm guessing he's probably talking about Julian. So
I don't know that he's
don't
not.
know.
He might just be saying it.
Yeah, he hasn't mentioned it. But also, there are going to be a lot of pros. Brandon Harding.
Loads of
Brandon
people.
Harding has cheated on every single prep he has ever done. I remember Tom Hames telling me, like he coached him, I'm pretty sure, and he was like, "Oh, he's useless. He cheated on this. He was. No, Tom.
You got to remember this goes out to people. This goes on YouTube.
Tom's mentioned it multiple times. I'm 99% sure. So if I have got that wrong, because it was years ago at this point, I do apologise, Tom and Brandon. Brandon gets enough hate. Brandon has Christian fucking chatting about him constantly on stories. We're nothing to Brandon. Like we're
Brandon won't
nothing.
care.
You know, Brandon won't care. Brandon would also hold his hands up and say he probably does it half of it for clout and how he is, and it's probably a personality. I guarantee if we were to meet Brandon, if we were to sit with him and do a podcast, we'd probably leave and go, you know, he's actually pretty sound.
Yeah.
You know, he might not be, but we don't know.
Despite messaging tonight.
Yeah, despite messages. I shouldn't say that. And also messaging me where I aired him. I put in the group chat, someone mentioned like his hard body sleeves good, and then someone like said like code Jack Eagles, and I was like, I could have had a code. I just didn't message him back and put a screenshot of his message saying, "Hey Reece, love to get you on the team. Let me know if I can schedule a call." Didn't reply to you, sorry Brandon.
Why didn't you reply?
I just don't really align with the ethos of Mr. Harding.
Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah.
That's not to say anything any bad about him. I just think there's potentially better opportunities. 1MR, message both of us, we'd be down.
Well, we have worked with him a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, and 100%. If you were to message us, Josh, we really like you.
Please.
Like, yeah, please.
Josh.
No, and honestly, I do think like sometimes in life you have to wait. Like it'd be the same as Jacob Tipper's been messaged by loads of like a fair few like customer brands, but he's not happy with who they are, and he's like just gonna wait for what he wants, which is cool. I respect it, and I think if I was to message him and say, "This is why," be like, "Yeah, sounds cool." Yeah. You know, if we were in the same position and we were like, and these people just didn't really were like us, we'd go, "Yeah."
Because of all the shit you say on that podcast.
Yeah, all the shit about Brandon Harding. Anyway. A lot of people binge. We've also got to realise that people are young. It's for Julian, it was his first prep. For Brandon, it was probably multiple preps.
There'll be loads of people. Most people.
Yeah, I think nowadays it is unfortunate because it is becoming more common. But I also think as well, it's becoming more common to speak about. A lot of people binge without telling their coach, without saying anything.
About it.
They would lie to their coach about their body weight. They'd maybe send like even fucking check-in photos from a week ago and hope that they don't notice or like whatever it's going to be, and they just would maybe not check in for a day or two. It happens. Now, in my opinion, if you win a pro card, if you win a show, you've won, you're the best. I do think there's going to be a certain thought where if I was to lose and I know deep down, I fucked it, I did this, I did that, I would feel awful. I would feel like such an idiot. If I've won shows, I've lost shows. The ones I've lost, I've never gone to bed, I'm upset, I've never cried at a result. I've just gone, okay, cool, I haven't won because I haven't been as good as what I like. I haven't been better than somebody and they've outworked me or they've done this, they've done that. I just need to get better. If I was to have known, I cheated on my diet.
Yeah.
I think that would actually where I probably would crack a little bit and I'd struggle to carry on because I know deep down I fucked it, fucking fault, and yeah, I've let myself down. I know since I started like actually being a bodybuilder, I've never cheated on my diet. I don't think I ever will. Like I know I won't. Like it's not going to be something that even crosses my mind. But people come into it where they're going into preps early, they haven't dieted, they don't understand what they're going to be like mentally, and we've both had shit fucking rebounds when we were younger from diets, and we probably both cheated on diets when we were 16 to 20, and we learned from it, and we thought
I never have I've never cheated on a diet, but I've had that
rebound
show
and you just feel like a
but
bell
obviously it
end.
wasn't. Yeah, where you then learn from it and you go, Jesus Christ, like I just feel awful, like really unwell. Stomach was in pain for months.
Yeah,
like
you feel guilty, and you just learn from it, and you also realise like you can have after a diet or in a diet, whatever. It's just 8,000 calories, 9,000 calories. You still feel pretty shit the following day. Yeah, you might not be as hungry, but your body still feels tired.
You don't all of a sudden build over the tissue and get leaner.
Yeah, exactly. So I just look at it and think like, because nowadays social media people talk about it, I think Julian's post was really good.
Yeah, it was.
I think I don't know if he addressed his like eating in the prep. I don't know if he mentioned that, but I know it was obviously the post that he did after his prep, where if you're doing it in a prep, you're going to do it afterwards, let's be frank. The second the pressure's off, you're going to do it. And it's a shame to see because it happens, but I also think it happens a lot more than what people realise. Finley Roberts, he spoke about it on my binging reel. Finley last year in prep, his starting prep weight was 100 kilos. His stage weight was 82 for the one he won the overall. I still wasn't happy with his condition. I wanted him to get down to sub 80. So he needed to pull off under those, we said 5-ish pounds. And before he actually got things together, I think he was back up at 100 kilos before his final show, and he got on stage at like low 90s, and he still looked alright, but he was so soft in comparison to what the judges would have seen. If it was different judges and they wouldn't have seen him, he probably might have got like third or second, because he still looked really good. It was just he was soft in comparison. And I think again, it happens. You have to own it. You have to have accountability, and you have to learn from it. So like Julian, for example, like he probably learned from the first show that when Jacob won the overall, the UK DFBA show. If Julian was 100%, he should have won the junior class. He should have been really close in the overall. He was miles off it in the overall, miles off it in the junior class, miles off it on show day, because he fucked up. When I was in Amsterdam, AJ, I know it won't be an issue, but I said to AJ, Julian looks really good, man. What did you do? Like, he looked really good at PCA, he looks even better now. And the first thing he said is, well, he stuck to the plan. He's listened to me. Yeah. And he's probably learned from it. Yes, he might have, I don't know, had maybe a few secret bits here or there. But like, if I was to be offered, it wouldn't even be an offer to win a pro card or to binge, because I just wouldn't binge. But I also think if you won, you've won, and Julian probably learnt from it and came in for his final show a lot better.
Would you rather binge and win a pro card, or not binge and not win a pro card?
It's easy to say, because I
strange
feel like
on that,
it is, I struggle to comprehend, because I can't imagine, and this isn't me trying to be on a high horse and say, I genuinely can't imagine doing it. But I genuinely think if it was an option, I feel like the stress that I'm the stress that I put myself through and the pressure I put myself through, if I was binging on my diet, I wouldn't be able to get on stage. I would pull out. I'd literally go, fucked it. Like, it would be the same as I got a comment on the reel, like, once you cheat on your girlfriend.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a really good
comment.
Like
broken glass, you can't just fix it.
If I was to binge on a diet, I think I would I said this to my mum actually, if she was to come down one day, and I was like scoffing my face, she would literally be like, Sanaa,
oh my God, he's finishing his meals.
Yeah, he's finishing his meals. Wow, amazing. This is the first. No, it would be like, okay, cool. You're not prepping anymore. You're not prepping. You know. If I was
I was saying this again. I can't remember in a check-in or even I spoke with Shannon about it. Like, no matter how bad I was last year, there was not one point where I thought like, I'm gonna binge on my diet. I'm gonna eat this. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna go and do this. Like, I'm gonna overeat. Like, there was not one point where I thought that at all. Like, no matter how bad I was, like. Instead, the thought was like ultimately about trying to be better or get leaner or push myself harder. Like, instead of, I need to binge. Like, it is a case of like, once you do that, it's like pulling the plug. It's like, okay, that's happened now. Like, obviously you can kind of, work around it, and you can kind of like bring it back.
I think in an enhanced prep it's a bit different.
Physiologically, you can bring it back, but psychologically, you can't bring it back. Yeah. If you cheated on your diet within a prep, you can't psychologically delete that.
No.
You can be like, right, okay, scrap it, it's happened, draw a line under it, let's move on.
But it's really hard to revive.
It's hard to move on, and then it's way harder post-show. Like, the post-show phase will be a mess if you're somebody who has not been able to stick to the diet. But yeah, in the sense of the actual question, it's obviously it's not a question that would ever like actually be it's not ever an actual debate. Like, if it was an option, would you rather binge and get a pro card or not binge and not get a pro card? I would probably be not binge and not get a pro card. Like, I'm not that bothered. Like, it'd be cool to get a pro card, but I'd rather know that I've done everything in my power to be the best that I can be, and I'd rather know, hand on heart, that like I've not let myself down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Than be like, I want a pro card. But that's nothing against Julian or anybody that's done that. Yeah. That's not in the slightest. If you win a pro card, you win a pro card. You're very good. People don't win pro cards unless they are very good.
The judges don't give a fuck about what you've done.
Yeah, exactly.
The judges don't care. They don't ask you, have you stuck to your diet?
Yeah, no.
Have you done all your cardio
one cares.
Sessions? But then also, when you go into the gym and when you check in with your coach and when you go to your training partner and you train with them, there's a level of like respect where like, if you had said to me, "Oh mate, I've binged on my diet," I'd be stunned. I wouldn't even believe you. Yeah. Same with you. And at the same time, I would feel really, really shit if my coach was telling somebody, stuck to the plan. I'd be like embarrassed about that, about my coach that I would look up to and respect and almost idolise and hold on this pedestal if he's telling people, stuck to his diet, and like I would almost feel like, oh fuck, I've let everyone down, like I've let myself down in that situation. So as a result, it's one of those where it's like, if it does happen and you do fuck up, it's like, is it really worth it? And like, is it, and a pro card, for example, if you do have a pro card, you don't walk around, I've said this before, with a halo above your head that says IMBA Pro or IFBB Pro or PCA Pro, or With me, a Fitex Pro, get it.
Not even
Not
yet.
even that. No. But soon, guys, that's going to be the goal. 5 years from now, when I'm 30. But again, one of those sort of things where like it's irrelevant. At least you know you've held yourself up to the standards.
I think at the end of the day, like the most important thing is like that individual and their well-being.
Would you view it? This is a bit of a weird question. This might be me just thinking it's late and I've not had a carb, so I'm just brain fogged.
Struggling.
Would it be like if you were to be offered? Would you cheat on Shannon, but she never finds out? Would it be like that? Like
Similar, yeah.
You know, when you think about it, like because if you said to me, would I cheat on Sanaya? But she never finds out. I'd be like, no. I wouldn't cheat
Imagine
on
how
her.
awful you'd feel every day. Like,
and that's almost like I know that obviously it's not the same,
not the
but
same.
it is kind of similar.
It's not though, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
It's
do you know what I mean? Like
that's like being that's playing with someone else's feelings, not your own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Binging is it's you. Like, yeah, you might have your coach and you might have your friends and family and whatever, but at the end of the day, like that's you and you have to deal with that. Yeah. Whereas if you were to cheat on Sanaya, even if she never found out, it's her that you're, but still it's the guilt, you know what I mean? Like, but you're still playing around with someone else's, you've done something to someone, whereas you've done this to yourself.
I've shagged someone else.
Done something to someone.
Shagged a bloke.
Oh, I didn't know it was a bloke.
Yeah,
if it was a bloke,
yeah, 100%. If I can cheat, if I can be gay until I never finds out, would I do it? Would you do it?
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
It's a bloke. But no, it is a good question. But I don't want anyone to think that we're like,
no,
this is not based. We literally got the question and we'll answer it. It's not based on anyone or anything. Like,
and we should also say it happens to the people that are shit as well. Like it happens to the people that don't place. It happens to the people that miss the mark with conditioning. It's just you only ever really notice it when someone's really good. Because and also at the same time, JP will probably have maybe not some level of like envy, but you do think, fuck, like if he's cheating on his diet, he's that good. Wow, if I was that good.
But again, like genetics play such a role. It's like footballers, like Hazard. Like people say that he just didn't try in training. Like all the other players will be like, what the fuck? He's literally the best player on the team and he doesn't even have to train. He's that good. But that's life. Like there's bodybuilders that are ridiculously good that no matter how much you want to try, you'll never be at that level because you just don't have the genetic capabilities to reach that level. And that's okay. You got the cards that you've been dealt. All you can do is do what you can with that. Like you shouldn't be then going, oh, but they've got a better deck of cards than me. Like, that's not
they
fair.
were born into wealth and I wasn't, so I'm annoyed that they've got.
So everyone should feel sorry for me. Like I should feel sorry for myself. Like no, you work with what you got.
Work with what you got, and as you said, like just to put it out there, Julian, Brandon, whoever the fucking question was about.
If anybody's listening, that is affected by that.
I respect.
It's not based at anyone.
Brandon's an IFBB pro and he's fucking probably a millionaire. Like he definitely is. Class, really good stuff. Julian, for a first timer junior, is immense. He's ridiculous.
And the fact that they both actually speak out about it is way better than the people who would just not say anything.
Yeah. Josh Croggan. Fucking class, and he doesn't binge, but he cheats on his diet because he doesn't really cheat on his diet. He doesn't even have a diet. He just has flexibility, and he knows, I can have a fucking beer and pull down my cream of rice. If that's your mindset,
well for him,
sound cool. It's individual. It's an individual sport. Do what the fuck you want, but just hold yourself accountable. And if you don't fucking win your shows, sound.
Accept where you could have been better.
Yeah, I think maybe the difference in like with Julian, for example, when he didn't win the UKDFPA show, it was like he was showing us, look at this, look at my stomach infection. No, you out of plan. Like that's maybe what he learned from, and then he probably realised I probably shouldn't be saying that. Maybe AJ pulled him to the side and said, "Don't fucking say that, man. You know, it happens. But you just own it and have accountability. And if you do, who are we to say anything different?"
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, if you win or lose, as long as you know, like, again, as long as you take accountability for like how you've handled yourself within the prep, like, that's all you can really ask. I wouldn't be. If you win a pro card, you shouldn't then all of a sudden be on this pedestal and be like, well, I binged and did this and did that, but it doesn't matter because I won a pro card. It's like, well, no, like you still could have been better. So that's what all we really are doing within this is just trying to be better. You know what I mean? When we all get into it, it's like, oh yeah, I just want to be a bit bigger. I want to be a bit better. Yeah. Like, so if you maybe do cheat on your diet and you still get a good result, don't think, oh, that means I can just cheat on my diet all the time. You think, well, actually, I could have probably been even better. Yeah. Like, that's what I would say. Because last thing you want is to be like, oh, well, they did this and they got in shape, so I might do that. You know, it's like, then you're just opening a can of worms and then you're normalising harder for yourself. Yeah.
Right, that's that. That went on for a long time, but that was
I think a very good talking point.
A good talking point, and also because it's at the end, I actually think it's quite good because the people that listen probably are actually the ones that want to hear our opinions and haven't just clicked on the video, skipped a bit, and thought, oh my god, like they're talking about Julian in a bad way, when in reality we're really not. We're talking about them in an honest way that hopefully, if you are watching this, Julian, Brandon, anyone that's binged on a diet, you respect that that's our opinion. And if you disagree, awesome.
and
If you do
we're not
agree,
like,
awesome.
oh my god, like
No.
there's bad people for doing that. Like, no, like I say, I actually really think it's a good thing that they speak about it.
Yeah.
Like, because there'll be people that don't speak about it who probably should,
And
who
then
have
they're
done it.
sat there stressing.
Yeah,
like,
instead of being
oh my
like,
God, I'm a
right, I
failure.
just need to accept
Yeah.
it and own up on it, and then sort of move forwards from it.
But what's not to do is to do what one of my clients did, where he'd be fucking cheating on his diet, binge on his diet, and then his coach was like, I think we should put training and have 3 days of pro fats and punish you as a result. So don't do that. That's not what to do.
Yeah, don't get into a binge and restrict cycle.
Yeah.
Accept it, like hold your hands up, weigh in the next day, take photos and go, right, that's the impact of that. I don't look better. Yeah, I might feel a bit better, but the goal of a contest prep isn't who feels best on stage. Like, you don't win if you feel the best. So yeah, take accountability. That's one thing that whenever my clients do slip up, whether it be post show or even before a prep, in a prep, like I'll say, like, don't just not message me. Like, message me. I'm not going to be like, oh my god, and scream down your throat. I'm going to be like, right, okay, you've kind of fucked up a bit. How can we move forward from it?
Yeah. Sound. Right, that's that. Cool. Everyone enjoyed? Please let us know. Hopefully they have. Any differences, setup, you like it, you don't like it, be honest, tell us. We'll catch you guys with some show reviews soon. Sam, you don't have to edit much, so there's no excuse if you don't get this up soon. Like, this needs to be up like ASAP, pronto. Like, it's 9:30 right now, 9:15, buddy. Get it done. Like, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Cheers. Right,
I've got to send it to him.
Cool. Right, that's that, guys. Bye-bye. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later. Cool.